The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Friday, the 3rd day of November, 2023. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, and Lenders. I'm Jamal Hartman. He's Roger Denbrook, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Happy Friday, Raj. Before you say anything, congrats to everyone part of Serafina, because, I mean, the plaudits just keep coming.
Yeah, it's why I do what I do. I love theater. When it's done right, it's one of the most magical things ever. I got the biggest compliment last night. So after the show, it was patron night, and I was saying hi to Gita Blakely Saltis, and she was like, "Oh, how you doing?" And she went, "Oh, were you in the show?" And my character's busy; he's all over the place, right? So she just literally didn't recognize me. So I said, "No, I played the thing, and I did my thing." And she went, "Oh, I thought they got somebody from South Africa to do it. I thought it was just like some South African dude. I didn't realize it was you." And like, you know what I mean? That's why I'm like, you know what? Cool. You know, I'm all right. We're doing a good job. So yeah, I'm just really grateful for the support.
I'm grateful, man. I'm happy. I've known Raj since before he got that little Vespa. That's what type of bike it was.
Oh, Izetta.
Yeah, Izetta. We called his bike the Izetta, and folks, if you missed the joke, the Izetta was Steve Urkel's little car he had on.
It was there, my little putt, my little Izetta. Oh shoot!
I've known Raj since pretty much he is a pup, and I know how much he loves doing what he does. And you know, to be doing it right now, my only hope is that we enjoy this so much that it becomes a norm. Like, you're in New York City, you can go pick a Broadway show to go any day of the week. Las Vegas, I would love to see as much effort in theater as there is IB or tourism and so on, because people are looking for these kind of things to enjoy and do when they're traveling. And what better than to see Bermudians perform in this light? And it's not easy, man, especially in a small community. You know, it's not easy.
No, it's not. And the challenge with theater is that when you want to do it well, it is expensive. You need to get your lighting person, your sound person, your scenic person. Thank you, Ms. Butler. You got to pay your actors if you're funding model. It's an expensive thing to do, and then to have the audience capacity to sustain a show for a certain, and like paying for the theater is hella expensive. So
yeah. The
only thing about theater, like large scale theater, that people like Broadway theater, it's expensive.
Interesting. Well, hey, sponsors, you know, people out there who want to support them.
This is it.
Let's do it. All right, folks. Well, you know what I did yesterday? I actually stopped by CARE, the Honorable Nelitha Butterfield's school, and I spoke to the young people there, and I enjoyed it. And I want to say they have some of the most talented young people in alternative education spaces. This young man drew a picture of her late son, Kurt, and she showed it to me. And he was very shy. And then he came over to me once I was done speaking with all the students, and he handed me his book. And I went through his book, Rajay. Freehand drew some of the most brilliant pictures I have seen drawn of Bob Marley, Billie Eilish, name an artist. And it was just fascinating to see. And I said, I would love to see him exceed the potential. The challenges, I just don't know about public education like I used to. I don't know. Someone just told me that they don't do gym as much anymore, like it's an elective. They do whatever. Art, people are telling me art's not like what it used to be. So I don't know if this is true. This is what I'm being told. My hope, and she asked, I said, well, look, I know people who love art or into art. I can direct them that way, but we cannot allow this talent to go without being watered and taken care of and nurtured. And Raj, I mean, it was touching because I didn't go there to lecture. I went there to share my experience of being in care. And I forgot that I actually had my mom put me in the summer camp that she put on, which was around PLP headquarters back in the day. I forgot about that.
Oh, wow.
Time in PLP headquarters as a young person. And I remember Fish Hut was next door. We used to always run a Fish Hut for lunch. But one of the things I told the young people yesterday, some of the most brilliant Bermudians came through care. Do not feel less than because you are in these rooms. I said, Rajay and I and Sencha this week have spoken about alternative education. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And so actually something that makes you uniquely intelligent, and you just need to do your job to reach your potential. So thank you to Dr. Butterfield for letting me come through, and I hope to stay in touch and see what I can do to assist those young people that I spoke with. And Sonia Clark saying you can buy a ticket, Jamel, that put on 2 more shows morning. Well, I'm not going to be here for 2 more shows. And then Rashida Godwin says, good morning to the H family. Congrats, Raj and Seraphine crew. Yeah, they loving you. But
yeah.
Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today, as we welcome Denise Riviere on from the Bermuda Clean Air Coalition. Folks, they're on the front page, up top of the paper. I'm not sure if it's updated yet, but this organization definitely is doing the work and needs our support to continue to do the work. So I'm really looking forward to the conversation with Ms. Riviere. The daily players are things you should know. All I'm going to say with this daily play is if Rajay does not get this right, we need a refund for every theater production he's ever been a part of.
Oh, bro. Okay. The stakes are high.
Stakes are high. Yeah. Raj, you're going to get this easier than you did yesterday. Trust me.
But okay, man. Okay.
I
don't get it.
But I do hope that Bermudians know this, because the point of the daily play is not to trick my colleagues, but it's all for us all to learn this, because the answer to this question is something we all should know that I guarantee we don't. Don't forget to subscribe on our website, folks. Hey, you all are coming through, but don't forget we've got the what is it called? The survey. Yes, my goodness. The survey is still available. Please, if you haven't already, please fill out the survey. We really appreciate your efforts in helping us to gather the data. As I said yesterday, if you want to fill it out, but you don't care about the prize, you don't have to put your email, but we respectfully would enjoy having your feedback so that we can make decisions that are in your best interest. So I'll share it again. If you haven't done it, if you know someone that may have not done it and watches the show, please have them fill out the survey so that we can collect as much data as possible. Be honest with us. You're not going to hurt our feelings. Well, maybe Rajay's, but not mine. But just let us, all right? And follow us on all of our social media channels to ensure that we, can keep doing what we do beyond the mic. We're here to improve our community, and it's because of you and your support that we're able to do that. So let's jump into today's conversation. I was riding through town yesterday after I left care, and I saw them setting up down cabinet. And honestly, I folks, forgive me, but I completely forgot that it was the throne speech this week. I completely forgot. Question of the morning: what would you like to see in the government's throne speech? That easy. That's that simple. I did see on the Royal Gazette's front page that there's an expectation that the taxi fare will be mentioned in the throne speech. Some people look at the throne speech as the government's book of promises or a book of lies or whatever. Others look at it as a brainstorming session with the government's ideas to make Bermuda better for the community. Regardless of what you think of it, what would you like to see in the throne speech today that you believe will make Bermuda a better place for all?
Oh, it's my turn.
Oh, yeah, please, Raj. I was going to go first, but I'm trying to be a gentleman.
Understood. I'm very, very sorry. Thank you. Thank you for your politeness. No, I mean, because you came out with the alternative education and the arts. How you expect me to pivot from that? Because that's, come on, man.
That can be included in the throne speech, right?
Bang, I'm gonna start right there. So, so my passion, and actually my policy understanding, I can say very confidently, is in arts and culture and in education, right? So in terms of education, I would like to see in the throne speech. So education reform is here to stay. It's not stopping, right? Primary schools are closing. We're getting parish primary schools. We are getting signature programs. We're not getting signature schools. We're getting signature programs, right? Because all they've really done with signature programs is expand the amount of electives that high school students get. So remember, they were talking about signature schools. So what I was thinking, like magnet schools. So you're going to have schools with a specific curricular focus. This is going to be focused in teaching and learning, project-based learning, inquiry-based. It's going to be reflected in the facilities. That's not what it is. They've expanded their electives and they've connected community partnerships to those electives, right? I wish I had the specific percentage of the amount of time that the signature program takes up, but that's what we got, right? So I want to make that clear. And we're getting this education authority. I'd love to have more clarity on that. Phil Butterfield is actually leading that piece. I am kind of not certain why he's leading it with his professional background, but I want to hear more details on this education authority that's coming. Parish primary schools, I want to see a more of a commitment to transparency, right? So what we're getting right now, so we've had Purvis and Francis Patton. They're the first quote unquote parish primary schools. We have no idea what's been co-designed. We have no idea what 21st century teaching and learning models have been identified and how this is going to be reflected infrastructurally, because this is the entire reason why we're going through this, right? So Paris and Purvis and Francis Patton have come. We have no idea what's been co-designed. We have no idea what the designs are for anything. And I've also heard that the estates team, who's responsible for managing the construction, have received no designs whatsoever to update these schools. All they're doing right now is building on extra classrooms to accommodate P7 and P8. So I'm very concerned about all of that. And as the public, we need to see that, right? So that's education. Arts and culture, I'd love to see more of a commitment to creating an ecosystem here where performing arts can take off again. I'm so grateful that you identified back in the day, the arts were popping. We just look in education, spring into the arts. What? That was flagship public school educational programming every year, and it was major. We had the road show. That's where I got my start in theater with Aunt Pat, Queen Mother Patricia Nesbitt, right? It's not what it used to be at all. You know, thank God we have organizations like Troika, like Gilbert and Sullivan, like BMDS that are keeping the culture alive. You know, but I'm slightly biased, obviously, but huge shout out to Troika for for filling that void. Want to see more of an ecosystem where we're taking care of the arts in this country. It blows my. So at Cedar Bridge, for example, I'm pretty sure they have no arts teachers except for a visual arts teacher. They should have a music teacher, a drama teacher, a dance teacher, and a visual arts teacher, and a media teacher. I think they have media and visual arts. They don't have music or drama or dance. That is extremely concerning for obvious reasons. And I also know that at Cedar Bridge, I'm pretty sure that the performing arts signature program is going to be at Cedar Bridge and is meant to be co-designed this year. And how the heck are you going to do that when you don't have a music teacher or a drama teacher or a dance teacher? And I've been told, Rajay, why don't you go teach at Cedar Bridge? And I'll share very transparently. I applied there back in 2021, was it? And took them my application was messed around with, took them a year to get back to me. It was ridiculous. I'm demonstrating my ability in theater arts. I have in the education system countless times. my bloody credentials speak for themselves. And I was messed around, you know? So if you want to disrespect people who you need, Bermudians who you need, it doesn't make sense. So anyway, that's my, I could say a lot more, but I'll stop there. You're muted, Mel.
Education and the arts, right? And I think to some people that might not seem important. I think it's actually probably as important as anything else. And I'll tell you why, especially, I'm just going to use the arts. As I said yesterday, art and sport, you know, special talents are a way out for a lot of people. They're a way out for a lot of people. I'm going to use athletics, for instance. Athletics, you know, I remember when I was coaching my under 9 teams and under 11s, and I always would say to the parents, you know, my job is not to really get them to adulthood and be playing at the senior level for this team. My job is to help them to use their talents to get them through life, right? Utilize your talent, get you a scholarship, or make connections to get that business loan, right? It's much more to it. The same applies for art with me, you know. You being a freehand artist today could get you being the director of marketing of that reinsurance company tomorrow if you're able to navigate certain spaces. I think all people need is a chance, right? Some people just need a chance and people to believe in them. So I agree with you at that, on that. Some other things I'd like to see in the throne speech. An audience, let us know, what would you like to see in the government's throne speech? I would like an update on the health insurance thing. Bermudians are reeling, you know, when I think of right now, Bermudians are complaining about a lot of things. Obviously, Belco, the electricity and energy situation. I would hope that there's some energy solutions in this throne speech. You know, we understand that, you know, Bermudians are, you know, having a hard time and going through it with the cost of gas and Belco prices. But is the government really interested in addressing energy, because they get so much in taxes from the gas and Belco? So I would hope there's something in the throne speech about the reduction of the gas usage, and more of a focus on energy solutions. What's going to help there? I don't want to see, and this may sound bad, I want to see more empowerment and less social stuff. And I'm not speaking, I'm hardly a capitalist, but I feel like throne speeches lack empowerment. I want to see, you know, what are we going to do? And I know they say BDC this, BDC that. We need more. We need young people having the same desire to be entrepreneurs that we push and they have when it comes to going to college. I'd like to see some things that lead into that space. What I'd like to hear in the throne speech, I would love to hear outside of Fairmont, Southampton, what else are you doing to really grow tourism? Immigration, I want to know, as far as immigration, what's being done to attract more people to Bermuda? But firstly, is anything being done to attract Bermudians back to Bermuda? There are a lot of Bermudians who are more than qualified to hold some serious positions and improve our country that are living outside, giving their expertise to others. You know, Barack Obama, I've mentioned this before, said in one of his State of the Unions, we allow many Chinese students to come into this country. They learn all of our secrets and get a lot of experience in our space. And then what do? We push them back out and send them back home with what we've taught them. That's not how it should work. Bermuda needs to do something to get its people back. All right. So what are your thoughts, audience? What would you like to see in the throne speech? We've got Sheik Arena says speech should include a plan to attract investors. Yeah, I concur. Now, I have no problem with us attracting investors. My problem is what we're giving away, or we're maybe not negotiating at the highest level, you know. But I do think that should be high up on the list. Bermuda needs investment. You know, do we go the route of many other countries where we hope that the Chinese would invest in our roadways, $100 million roadways, we say? Right? Like what?
That'll be something.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be something. And then maybe, yeah. So I was no, what I was saying. I was thinking about because they're doing that sort of economic imperialism thing, right? So they're going into certain countries, getting these big old loans, and then then the countries can't pay them off. Then they own that stake in that. They own that infrastructure in that country now.
Mm-hmm.
It's happened in a bunch of African countries.
And the
Um,
Caribbean, yeah.
yeah, yeah, but we're not talking about that though.
We're not. No,
Right, right,
not that kind of colonialism.
right, right. Yeah,
No.
let's not. Let's not.
Yeah. Misha Fabla says something to make local banking more competitive, especially interest rates, as they directly affect affordability of housing. Well, they say competition does, or at least should bring prices down, right? It looks like outside of the two big boys, Digicel and One Communications, there's another cell phone company on the way. So let's see what that does in that space. But I hear you, Misha. What up? Is the Bermuda Digital Bank still a thing? I haven't.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention, but maybe that's something that could help. What are your thoughts, though, audience? What are your thoughts? Throwing speeches today. I mean, what are you thinking? What can we do? What can we do?
I have. Say it again. I'm sorry.
I'm saying, what do we expect? Go ahead.
So this isn't low hanging fruit, right? I don't expect this to be in the drone speech in the absolute slightest. But another thing that I'm really, really passionate about is family policy, a policy that affects families specifically, and then by extension, young people, and policy for vulnerable families specifically. I would just, when families are strong, children are healthy, and they perform well in school, that's not the be all and end all. But when we're talking about low performing students, everything shows, number one, strong teachers equal strong results. But before that, strong families, strong, stable families produce strong, stable young people who are able to operate well in school. That's the thing. Everyone says that education is a great equalizer. It's not. Strong families are the great equalizer. You can send a child can come from a strong family and go to a mediocre school and outperform a child that comes from a weak family and goes to an excellent school, a high performing school. I would love to see policies that strengthen families, that elevate the importance of family and producing strong, healthy young people. That's what I would love to see. And one of the biggest things, it's not going to happen right now. If I'm ever in politics, I'm going to advocate for it like I'm insane. I want to see maternity leave extended, like to reflect our not Nordic, Denmark, Finland.
Yes.
Right.
The Scandinavian countries.
Yes, there we go. And Japan actually has it as well. I want to see maternity leave increased to a year.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can have shared paternity leave, increase it to a year, and you can split it between the parents however you want. Every single study has shown when you do that, children perform better, short-term and long-term.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think small businesses are the challenge with that. I agree with it. I think the United States and one other country are the worst when it comes to that kind of law. But I agree with it. I think the small businesses they're the ones that will stand in the way, because a small business that only has 3 people, for instance, they may say we can't survive if we give someone off a whole year or something. So it brings you another thing, discriminating early on when hiring. You might try to avoid, hiring such, because no, we can't afford to have someone out a year. So it's an interesting dynamic in a place like Bermuda.
Yeah, I think the government would have to subsidize it. I think maybe there can be some like sort of small business grant that you can apply to the government for. We're not in a position. Small businesses, they would suffer with that kind of change, and I think the government would have to step in and support them in the ways. But this is in the ways that they support a whole bunch of other things, right? And again, always bring it back to education. Oh, and Misha said it. There we go.
Yeah.
Wonderful. We're on the same page from subsidy. Wonderful. See, this is what I mean. Misha, we're hurt. Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Let me say from payroll tax, perhaps. Hey, here for it.
Yeah.
Mark
T. Phillips says, make mental health services more accessible to the whole community.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. Absolutely.
I heard something. I'm so sorry. I heard something so, and I saw something so disturbing. Okay, so I was actually teaching some classes up at Westgate this summer. I absolutely loved it. I loved connecting with a bunch of the men up there and getting a feel and an understanding for what's happening in that correctional facility. Another conversation for another day. But there was a young man up there. I was helping up with this study on homelessness a few years ago, and got to know this young man. He's schizophrenic. He cannot function. That's why he's homeless. He can't stay in a job, etc. I saw this young man up at Westgate. So clearly he had done something and is up at Westgate. That's the last place that he needs to be, and that's the last thing that the inmates need. What infrastructure has fallen away where somebody with acute mental health challenges, like literally pathological, is up at Westgate and not getting the services that he needs? And when he gets out, the same thing's going to happen.
Cycle. Yeah.
Where's the?
I think Mark makes a great point. And we hope that there's some mention of it. Last year, I mean, and let's just be clear. I know throne speeches seem like a bunch of promises, and so on, or book of lies, but there are some things. I think the Porn Act came out the throne speech and moved forward, and I think Miss Chardonnay, I don't know her last name, was very important that happened. So there are some things, but let's bring Maya Palacio in for Daily Hour News Break, folks, and then we have Denise Riviere coming up. Bermuda Clean Air Coalition. Look, folks, if you have not read their article in the Rogue Gazette 2 weeks ago, do that during the commercial break. This group is as important as any other in Bermuda for our well-being. There are a lot of, we talk about on this show the amount of people in Bermuda that have gotten cancer, for instance. Now, I don't know why. I'm not a scientist and I'm not studying it, but to me, this group is looking out for the health and wellness of Bermuda, not just being angry at monopoly organizations. So I hope you all tune in and share it with your friends, your family, colleagues. But first, Maya Palacio with the Daily Hour News Break.
Good morning. Good morning.
Captain.
Greetings. How are you?
I'm good. Before we begin, I just want to reiterate the name of the law. It's the Non-Consensual Sharing of Intimate Images Act.
Thank you. Because I definitely said Porn Act.
I was like, what? What are you talking
I didn't know what it was called, but thank you. This is why I'm with two brilliant people to correct me or, bring the actual letter of the law. But no, and again, that was an important piece of legislation. And as much as we can criticize the people in the House, we have to thank them as well for actually doing things that are necessary for our community.
Yes, definitely agreed. I mean, it's definitely one that's needed, but I say it so often, I feel, whenever I have to get the opportunity to speak to children and young adults in Bermuda in schools, I tell them all the time, like, phones and media is the first thing I talk about, because like at this age, like at my age, I know my generation was the ones who basically raised ourselves on how to use phones. My mama couldn't tell me how to use an iPhone, what this is, what that is. Like, we taught ourselves. So the rhetoric is like listening to us. And in that same sense, those people who were, making those decisions high up in government and laws didn't see the need to put any laws. They just go to social media. And now we're coming to this age where we realize it's way bigger than that, and that we do need laws for it. So yeah, this one being passed was like so important, and it really could have saved lives if it was in way earlier.
Yeah, I concur. Did you have anything you wanted to add to something you'd like to see in the throne speech as well?
Yes, I do recall, I can't remember exactly what it was, but when Bermuda Youth Connect, they were trying to get the government to agree on potentially like 2 meetings with young people a year or something like that, something put in concrete where like you have to speak and address only the young people in Bermuda and see what they want, yada, yada, yada. And I don't think they've made any headway on it. So I would love to see something like that where, yes, I see that they have like the national youth policy, but there's nothing really in there where it like promises to speak and sit down with actual young people of Bermuda to see where they're at, what they want, what they need. I mean, that's who you're trying to connect with. So let's make that happen.
So you want to see like more consistent engagement with young people from the government?
Yes, but like a mandatory one. And I can't remember what they had stipulated in that where like you have to do X, Y, Z. But yeah, I guess that's probably where things kind of got rocky and it hasn't like been confirmed or anything. I'm not too sure. I have to reach out to them because I didn't think about it till this morning. But yeah.
No, because I was on the National Youth Policy Working Group, the first one. The second one, I applied and I didn't get on, and I've been asking questions and I've been getting very convoluted answers, but I'm not going to go into that today. But yeah, anyway, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for letting me know that. I didn't know that you applied and didn't get on. I didn't know people didn't get on when they apply to those things. I didn't know many people even apply. So that's
right.
Good to know. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Hour News Brief. This is brought to you by the great people at People's Pharmacy. Starting out our news early this morning, and I really want, if anyone is not looking at the screen, please look at your screen right now, because it is now going to be 6 days. 6 days since 15-year-old Raquel Sophia Souza Sequeira was reported missing. So someone in this community knows her whereabouts. This police coming from the police. They say, if you know or have seen this person, we are urging you to immediately call the main police number 295-0011. This young lady is a juvenile. The police wish to strongly remind the public that harboring a juvenile is an offense punishable under the law. A person guilty of this offense is liable of summary conviction to a fine not exceeding $3,000 or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months. Please, if you have any knowledge or whereabouts of 15-year-old Raquel Sophia Souza Sequeira, please immediately call the main police number 295-0011. Once again, she's described as a Portuguese national she's 5 feet in height, light complexion, slim built, with her hair is black and stops at her neck length. And she was last seen somewhere between 10:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. on Saturday, October 28th, in the Hillview Lane, Warwick Parish area. Hillview Lane, Warwick Parish area. At the time, she was wearing black shorts and a white top.
I just want to reiterate that she's a child. She's a child. She's someone's child.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that means something to someone.
If you know anything, just call the police. Even if you think you know something about her, which you might be something, call the police.
Yeah, please. I'm not going to go on, but after that, but both Maya and Janelle said, please, this is somebody's child. Hope. Don't even want to think about what could have happened. Just hope that she's safe. And if you know anything, just please, let's get her home and let's get her found.
Right. Now, we mentioned this the other news today, but just keeping the highlight in the name of Marco Warren on our minds. And the family has also said that they have a confidential line. Like, if you don't want to, call into or have your name known about things that maybe you do know, you can please call and assist them. This is very confidential. You can call this line at 707-1636, or even email the number that you see there, tamarastevens00@gmail.com, should you know anything in the case of Marco Warren.
Yeah. Again, May. It's now November.
And somebody knows something once again.
Somebody knows something.
I want to say this before you move on real quickly. As such a small community, we gossip a lot, but we never tend to gossip about the things that the community needs to know. Let's do better.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
Well, in other news today, the public is advised that the convening of the legislature will take place on the Cabinet lawn. Talk a little bit about it this morning, where Her Excellency the Governor, Wina Lauji, will set out the government's legislative agenda for the upcoming year. The formal proceedings get underway at 10:30 a.m. And you can watch it live as well on any of the government channels.
Yep, I'll be tuned in.
Well, they're getting rained out, so I hope they take an umbrella.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's gonna mess up the fashion show, but
Just a little bit. I mean, I'm here for the chaos.
Okay.
Well, it's November 3rd, which basically means it's Christmas. So we have some events going on. The City of Hamilton is asking people to come out and join them for the annual lighting of the iconic City Hall Christmas tree. You can enjoy a lot of free photo ops with Santa Claus, if that's the celebration that you go for. A professional photographer will be on hand. There'll be free chocolate, hot cocoa given out as well. A lot of entertainment, high energy performances, and the lawn will be kept in high spirits. So that's going to happen on November the 24th. So we've got some time before it actually rolls around. Put it in your calendars, 6:30 to 9 p.m. A really good time for the family.
Oh, it's like the Rockefeller tree. Like, I had no idea City Hall had a tree every year.
That big old thing on the lawn.
Big, huge tree.
Huge tree on the lawn.
Oh, my apologies.
You haven't been here for a while. No, for somebody. No, wait a second. I take that back. For somebody who listens to Christmas music all year round.
But you have to repeat that. I mean, anyway, folks. It's coming back to me. It's coming back to me.
It's
Sorry.
coming back to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now we're going to move on to some sports. Pan Am Games was happening yesterday, and we had a lot of our athletes that competed in a ton of events yesterday, and like really big ups to them. We got one athlete. You may already know her name because I have mentioned her, have an interview with her, but she is now qualified for the Olympics. So big up to Adriana Penwidock. Like, that's an incredible feat. That's her first time going to the Pan Am Games. When she spoke to me, she is a very, like, when I tell you she's the quietest person I've ever spoken to, very, like, I would say humble as well. Just like, she loves her sport, loves what she does, she loves to compete, and it's just like an everyday like breath, like breathing to her. And so this was really amazing. Her first time going to the Pan Am Games and now qualifying for the Olympics in her first go around. She didn't know it was going to happen, but she was hopeful. So that's really amazing.
Congratulations to her.
Seriously, that's amazing.
The courage to sail in the ocean. Yeah, she deserves a medal just for that.
For real. We have received the medal so far as well. As you know, I mentioned Connor White. He just came home the other day after receiving his bronze medal from the Pan Am Games as well. And then we have other athletes that did compete yesterday that did outstanding performances too. We got Tyler Smith in his triathlon heat, who came 7th. And also you got Erica, who came 4th in her triathlon heat. And in Tyler's, he said, "No medal, but my highest finish in a major games. No complaints and enjoying leaving it all out there on the electric streets. It was a tough course with lots of tactics coming into play, but I did what I could do to get the best results possible for myself." And then Erica, in her statement, she mentions how, in a games before, like, she had like cried and thought she was actually going to give up the sport. So to come back and make it to 4th place, she is very, very like grateful and really happy with her results.
Okay. Cool. Congratulations to them all.
Definitely. And they both like had over 20 people in their heat. So really, really good job. And then for the weather today, we're looking like sunny breaks with a couple of passing showers. And we have a high of 74. So it's getting colder.
All righty. Yeah, it was freezing. I went to dinner last night, came out. I was like, ooh. Raj, what you got days of the year for us?
Days of the year is Japanese Culture Day.
What does that mean?
Bruh, Toonami, anime, every young black man. Where would I be right now if I didn't have Dragon Ball Z or One Piece or bloody My Hero Academia or any of the don't look at my face like that. Jamel, I love Pokemon.
I don't know nothing about
you're missing out. And for somebody who loves community as you do, like Okinawa, it's not Okinawa. I think it's Okinawa. They have so like the people who live longest in the world, I think they're from, I'm pretty sure it's Okinawa, and they have these things called Moai, M-O-A-I, and it's like Attack on Titan. Actually, no, I can't watch Attack on Titan. That's scary to me. I can't do it. I can't.
Well, I'm gonna have to look up some Japanese culture, folks.
You're missing out. Oh my God, Jamel, what is wrong with you?
Real quickly before we head out, it is Sandwich Day, folks. So because
it's Japanese Culture Day, I
want to ask the audience, what's your favorite kind of sandwich? Let us know your favorite kind of sandwich. What's your favorite kind of sandwich?
My camera is Japanese.
I'm not a big sandwich person, actually. I don't know. I just don't really get into it like that. But I will say that one of my favorite Japanese movies, I do love animation, and Spirited Away or Howl's Moving Castle, I could watch those all day. And even though it's not
Miyazaki. Hayao Miyazaki.
Well, real quickly, Raj, what's your favorite sandwich? We've got to take a break. But what's your favorite sandwich, audience? What's your favorite sandwich, Raj?
My favorite Hayao Miyazaki movie is probably Spirited Away. That's my favorite. And I love Ponyo because it's wicked.
What's Ponyo?
That's my point. You need to get it.
Huh?
It's just another movie.
Oh, I thought it was a type of sandwich. Shikarena gave the most Bermudian answer ever.
Oh yeah, fish sandwich. Okay, yeah.
Fish sandwich. I think we would all agree. I'm not a sandwich person, but if you put fried fish between a bread, that's what it is. Netflix has anime, cousin Jamal. I don't pay for Netflix. You all don't act like you don't know me. I've been in Bermuda a week. I don't turn on the TV.
Watch cartoononline.io.
That's pretty loud.
No, we ain't breathing. We're passionate. Japanese.
Real quickly.
Peanut butter sandwich. Yes, I do love peanut butter and banana as like a good breakfast one. Toast, peanut butter, banana. That's good.
Oh, peanut butter and bacon and honey sandwich on whole wheat toast.
You know what? We got to head out because
What? You've never had a peanut butter and bacon sandwich?
bacon, like from a pig.
Yes, peanut butter and bacon sandwich.
Raj, Maya, you have a great weekend. We've got a very important guest coming up.
Are you kidding me right now? You
like-
know, whatever. Go
like-
on. Japanese culture day. It's Japanese culture day. Forget you. Fish sandwiches, yes. Forget you and your sandwiches.
Stick with us, folks. It's like
Get on my nerves.
some peanut butter.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's next.
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
All right, welcome back to the big show. The Japanese expert, Roger Denbrook, the sandwich questionnaire, Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, please don't forget, fill out our survey, man. Fill out our survey. We've got the survey, the annual survey we put out. I'll just put it there again. Make sure you fill out the survey so we can collect as much data as possible about you, our audience. And don't forget to subscribe, on the website while you're doing that. Go to make sure our social media channels, you're following us on all platforms that you're on, and help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Without further ado, let's give a warm welcome, a TDH welcome to Denise Riviere. She is coming on, and we're going to have a good conversation about our clean air. Calm down, Raj. Calm down. She don't know you like that.
I know your work. I'm excited.
Oh, you know her. Good morning, Miss Denise. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. I've enjoyed listening to you guys. You are very entertaining this morning.
Yeah, the younger people on the show pick on me sometimes,
Oh, they do? Well, I'm going to look up some Japanese culture after this. So
my ignorance, it really comes out when I'm with these two in particular. But I have to forgive myself. But no, first of all, thanks for doing this. Thank you.
Thank you.
When the article from the organization Bermuda Clean Air Coalition was in the newspaper about 2-3 weeks ago, we got quite a few people that wrote to us on this show and asked, can you have them on, because I think they played a key role in the organization's government, BELCO, and the regulatory authority revisiting the FAR increase. But just for those who don't know, just tell people a bit about the organization, the Bermuda Clean Air Coalition, and its purpose.
Sure. So we came about because there were like-minded people around the community that were trying to fight for the community and for their particular areas of the community as it related to dealing with the pollution that was coming from BELCO. So there were some of us that once we found out there were so many different groups that were trying to do the same thing, we decided to come together and use the philosophy, there's power in numbers. So once we got together, we decided that, okay, we should have a collaborated name, which is when we came up with Bermuda Clean Air Coalition. We will be aiming to become a charity, but in the beginning, it was really just bringing like-minded people together and for those who didn't have a voice, try to give them a voice as it related to dealing with the pollution. So our main purpose over the years, we first started getting together and talking in 2020. So over the years, it's just been wherever possible, and mentioning the impact of the pollution from Belco, and we refer to them as nuisances. And those are things like the soot fallout, the odor that's created by it. Some people are experiencing vibration. Some people are experiencing sound pollution. And then, of course, with the roofs, you have the water pollution. So as we started asking people what they were experiencing, those were the type of things that were coming up. And so our purpose was to contact Belco, work with Belco on how we were going to improve what was happening to the community. And that turned into a series of meetings. And so our main purpose was really just to be the voice for those people in the community that might not have felt they have a voice, and continue to push that and push that and push that. We're not going away. No matter how long this takes, we realize that, the what we can't avoid is it's a power plant in the middle of a residential area. Doesn't matter where it would go on the island, it'll be in a residential area. And so there are things that we believe that Belco should be accountable for, just by nature of having no choice really to operate in that way, but you still have to make sure that you are taking care of the community that's around you. So that's sort of our overall purpose and where we started, how we started.
Yeah, so obviously this kind of work is necessary in so many different ways, in the immediate sense of safeguarding people's health. And I remember when we had the dementia guests on, Jamel, I can't remember their name, and they were talking about environmental pollution. There's a air quality and dementia link. Like it's a clear link there. So
it links to a lot of different health issues.
This is environmental justice we're talking about. I mean, giving power in numbers, self-determination, but why this is a very obvious question, but why is an organization or work like this necessary in Bermuda?
So I think the latest tower that was built probably tipped the scale for the community. The area has been dealing with pollution ever since the Belco period has been there. So it's not a new issue. This is actually something that like I have an aunt who, because of where her house is, there are times she used to have to leave her house because the way the wind was blowing, and that was before this last tower. This last tower, though, is definitely something that has increased the community's concern about the impacts of that pollution. There are increased incidences of asthma in the area. One of our community members highlighted that on a meeting we had on Thursday. There are other people who have cancer that believe that it is a result of the pollution from Belco. We have one community member, her dad passed, and when they did his autopsy, they saw the condition of his lungs and asked, does he smoke? Never smoked a day in his life, but he had dark lungs. So the reason why we sort of have continued to push is because the community is getting bolder in making people aware of some of the concerns. And for those of us that don't mind stepping forward and being the voice, we just want to support that, because we know not everybody is going to stand up and say. And so we believe that we are a voice that can probably speak about things that have been issues for a while, but it's becoming bigger and bigger and bigger with this new portion of the plant. So that's sort of why it's important to us to address it, because there are people who feel, especially from a health perspective, that we can't wait till 2035 for renewable energy to be in place. So, by then, a lot of people could have other health issues. The unfortunate part is that, there are doctors that may not be willing to say this is a result of Belco, but there are definitely conditions that are coming up in that area. And one of the things that we want to do and that we want to start fundraising for is to do our own health survey. so that we can understand what's going on in the community. But we need it professionally done so that it has, the power behind it that we need to move forward with addressing some of the impacts of it.
Understood. Yeah, you wanted to have fidelity. Understood. And again, that data-driven approach is like that's the best way to do things. Another, I think, very obvious question, but why should Bermuda's air quality be a concern to all Bermudians?
Well, we're a speck in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, so it doesn't take much to impact most of the island. Excuse me. And in this case, because of the placement of where Belco is, it impacts several schools in the area. It even probably impacts Hamilton. I used to work in Hamilton, and I remember people saying stuff about stuff being on their cars, but never correlated it to Belco. And now that I understand and have seen what it looks like, I'm realizing how much this pollution probably impacts in the community. We have people as far as work that have said that they've seen things on their roof or on their vehicles. So it is something that is not only a Pembroke community issue, it's a Bermuda issue. And we want to make sure that people understand that, because not only do we have children from all families across the Hill Island, we have the city right there. Everybody comes to businesses that are in the community. So it truly is a bigger problem than just the Pembroke community. So people should care because it's an island problem, not a community problem.
Thank you for that context.
Yeah.
The Bermuda Clean Air Coalition recently wrote a letter I thought it was incredibly well written, and I found it very, very valuable. But why was it important to write that letter to give context?
Yeah, so there are a couple of people on our team who do have some knowledge of the electrical sort of industry, but there are a lot of us that have no clue. And so when the information about the increase came out from Belco, if anything, for most of us, it just sort of created questions more than answers. Like, I'm not an electrician. I don't know, what happens when you take an alternator or an engine off or everything. So we just decided that we would ask some questions and get some answers from the different stakeholders. And these are questions that have been in our minds for a while. One of our concerns was always, okay, as we start to push against the pollution of Belco, and we're asking for, increases in, the number of people's roofs that are being done, cars that are being cleaned, tanks that are being cleaned, all of the mitigation things that Belco is doing. They have really been responsive to our requests to, do more in the community as far as that's concerned, and they have done that. However, we continue to push on questioning as we start to address all this, which is as a result of whether you call it faulty equipment or whatever is happening that's resulting in soot fallout and everything. Our concern has always been that cost being passed on to people's bills. And that's what one of the biggest questions was for us with this latest increase. It's like, okay, so we're increasing, but is this because of problems that you're addressing? And if it is because of problems that you're addressing, why is that being passed on to the community? Now, of course, there's all sorts of legislative things that require or dictate how they deal with expenses and everything. And BCAC is asking, okay, what about the moral and ethical part of this? Where, it's like, yes, you're impacting the community negatively because of equipment condition and things that might not be working right. And so why is that being passed on? And that might sound like a very simple way to look at it, because when you're in business, of course, it's not unusual for prices to increase because of things that you're dealing with operationally. But our question or our push, and you talk about what would we like to see in the throne speech, if you ask BCAC, we will say, we want there to be more ethical conversations around the impact of the particular topic of pollution. I appreciate the legislative impact and things that drive, but that's what led to that letter. It was like, okay, so we're fighting something that has been faulty, and yet we are questioning, is that coming back on us as a higher bill? And so we had a meeting on Thursday that passed, and their government representatives and the RA representatives did come out and answer questions. It was really good. They were able to give us some updates on what's happening next. Like, for example, they are looking at the legislation, which is supposed to be strengthened so that there is some more stipulations put on organizations like Belco. So they've asked us to be a part of that once that legislation is out. There's also a team that's going to be put together to look at these issues and figure out how to address them in a sort of a bigger way. They've asked us to be a part of that team. So we are really happy that the BCAC has been seen as an entity that can help with coming to the solution of it. Belco, unfortunately, was not present in that meeting. So they had a meeting last night. Unfortunately, the turnout wasn't well, but we're going to be talking to them about possibly doing an additional meeting so that we can get the word out more. But in that meeting, we were very blunt and honest in saying, you know, we appreciate all of the work that's been done by Belco, because they've responded to our requests quite a bit over the past month, over the past few years, as it relates to removing what they were originally calling the zone of who gets their roof done. They removed that. So now they'll come out and actually look to see what the condition of it is in making decisions. But we made clear last night, we want you to do more. We want you to go door to door, go to those people, especially our seniors, who may not have water filters, may not have clean water. Because if you do not have a water filter, you should see the water that you probably have in your tank. So there's more we're pushing them to do. We will never stop pushing. So although we appreciate the progress they've made, we want them to do more.
Indeed. And audience, if you have any questions or comments for Ms. Denise, please send them through. Charles H. Jefferson II says, I applaud the efforts of BCAC. The recent letters to the editor was very well done. Do you feel like you finally have the attention of Belco, RA, and government? What can we all do to support your efforts?
So I definitely commend, again, all of the stakeholders, because when we first came out and we started having meetings, we did meet with the RA to understand the legislation and understand the impact they have on what Belco can and cannot do. We've had conversations with government. The Environment Department has been doing a lot to try to understand the pollution and push to get that legislation done. And so I think we've always had good conversations, but what we've made clear to everybody is that we're going to continue pushing. And so I think we've had the attention of them, but now that they really, really understand we're not going anywhere, I think that attention is continued, and we have agreed to have further conversations with Belco, not so much on what they're doing, because we know that they're trying to do what they can do. There's a paper coming out later in November about what type of fuel we should be using. So from that perspective, we really do appreciate the effort. What we will continue and will never stop pushing on is addressing the nuisances that have come down on the community. And that is house valuation. Some people have lost a lot of value in their house because of the stains from the soot that has come out. Some people are not getting their roofs done that should be getting their roofs done. Some people who should have water filters don't have water filters. And so that is the piece that we will continue to be in their face about, because as we all agree, we don't want electricity turned off. Right? Nobody's going to say, okay, you need to stop what you're doing. Stop what they're doing actually means turning off electricity. So that's not what anybody wants. But while you're dealing with the issues, and while the country is addressing renewable energy and what type of fuel we use, the problems that are happening in the community need to be addressed. Water, pure water. People are drinking this water, they're bathing in this water. At a minimum, they should be provided with pure water so that they can make sure that they're at least not cooking in water that's not clean. And so those are the type of things that we want to make sure that they don't forget us and that they realize that we're going to be on their backs continuing.
All right. And we've got Manuela John. She's asking, in the past, cruise ships were blamed for the soot. Is that being considered now? Is there a difference when the cruise ships are not arriving, although there may not be as many ships?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that we're in the community area. There have been studies about sort of how far out what they were calling their zone, and I think how we're challenging that is, and this is very important for Bermuda to hear me on, if you feel you are experiencing pollution as a result of Belco, please send them emails. Their email address that receives this is ohse@belco.bm. The way that they know that where the soot is falling and where the problems are happening is from us letting them know. And I think we can do a better job on that. So I don't know the extent of the cruise ship smoke, but they can actually, the soot that's coming out of these is very distinctive. You can see what this looks like. It falls looking like coal, and then it turns into orange. So it's actually stains, your roof. So it's very distinctive. I can't say that that's what cruise ship smoke looks like. But please, 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 if you are experiencing, this is especially in the immediate surrounding area, please send emails, and you can even CC us. Our email address is bdacleanaircoalition@gmail.com. So, but more importantly, let Belco know that you are experiencing something, because that helps them to be able to come out and review and see what the damage is or see what the situation is as it relates to roofs, water, tanks, all of those things.
All right, we got another question. Traveling Trotty, she's asking, there are a number of schools in the area. Have they reported any issues?
So we have spoken to several schools in the area, and there are some that have admitted that they do have to deal with it. One school in particular, they actually are changed. They have water filters, and they're changing them regularly. So they're absolutely experiencing the expense of having to change filters. But even with change filters, my dad changes his filter. I think it gets changed maybe every 2 months, maybe 3. I don't even think it's that much. And the filter looks like chocolate pudding when you take it out. So whether or not you have a filter or not, imagine that there's still stuff that's absolutely passing through. But imagine all the businesses and schools that might not have filters. And what that looks like. So we have been in conversation. We're going to continue talking with not only schools, but the businesses in the area, because we have to get a better idea of what the impact is, so that we can take that towards in our fight going forward.
Charles H. Jeffs II has another question. He says, the unfortunate thing is we may not know the full impact of the tower for many years to come. Is BCAC consulting with areas around the world who have had similar experiences, and what would satisfy BCAC?
So we do have some partners on our team that are actually from overseas. They either have been to Bermuda or used to live in Bermuda, and they have a passion for the problem that we're dealing with. And they have connected us with some people overseas. Part of the fundraising effort is to be able to allow us to connect with different entities around the world, be able to get information from them, be able to potentially test things in our environment. Like, we want to be able to do our own test of our water. Although there are areas on island, we would actually like our own independent testing with people overseas. So we definitely have connected with some. If anybody knows of entities that we should be connecting with, again, please email us at bdacleanaircoalition@gmail.com. And when they ask the question, what would satisfy us? There's probably 2 big things that would. We want Belco to take more accountability for the nuisances that are impacting the community, which, like I said, is all of the things regarding property, even health. That part is a nuisance. So those things that we're going to continue to push for. We want more action from Belco on that, and they're aware of that. And then the other thing that we would like to see is the renewable energy schedule. This is also something I hope would be in the throne speech. Right now, that 2035 date is too far out. How can we shorten that? How can we push more and faster for renewable energy? Because putting up with this for till 2035 as a community is just going to result in more property damage and more health issues and on the whole gamut. So that would be something that would satisfy us if we could pull that forward from 2035, and if we can address the nuisances that have come about as a result of the Belco pollution.
Charles H. Jeff II just had a quick question. That filter that you said your father had, was that at his own expense?
No, Belco has actually come out and they've looked at people's houses, people who have either come forward or they do walkabouts. We have asked them to do more walkabouts to get to more community members. But for those that they have visited, they have looked to see, does their roof need to be done? Does their tank need to be done? Do they need a water filter? So they are doing a partial sort of review of their own, and they are paying for expenses. They did actually, one of the things that used to be in place is when you got your roof done, you used to have to pay for it up front and put in for reimbursement. Belco did get rid of that. Like now they cover the cost up front. So they've definitely done some things, but we just need them to do more, because there are definitely additional people that need water filters. Now, there are some people out there that have paid for their own water filters. There are some people out there that their roofs have been refused to be cleaned for whatever reason. There are some people, and community members may disagree. And so even though they are paying for some people's, we need them to look and see, who else do you need to pay for?
Indeed, got you.
And expand that, because the drinking water is a big thing. It's huge. If you saw what this water looks like, it is third world worthy, to be honest. And so if we have people out there drinking that, the health department should have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And so we're also reaching out to other elements of government. Like, this is not just a Belco problem. Like, the government needs to be protecting its citizens, and we want to see more.
Yeah, just remind people how they can get in touch and support Bermuda Clean Air Coalition in their efforts to improve the air quality in Bermuda.
Sure. As I mentioned, we're getting to the point of starting our fundraising effort. So if anybody is willing to support the effort of being able to get health surveys done, do water testing, our email address again is bdacleanaircoalition@gmail.com. If you have information, like people have reached out from the asthma organizations, and they have information they want to share. So the way the community can participate is to understand that this is not a community issue. It's an island issue, number one. And number two, hopefully we can find some donors or even individuals that are willing to contribute towards the work that needs to be done in coming up with resolutions. Or, like you said, data is important. Help us to collect the data that we need.
Indeed. Denise, thank you so much for this conversation. And I really do hope that our audience does what I ask them to do every day. Share this conversation with their friends, family. To me, I think what I think you drove home this morning, which was one of the things I hope, is this isn't a problem of just the neighborhood. There's people in the neighboring areas.
Absolutely.
Bermuda is very small. This is all of our problem. Someone who may live in Sands or St. George may actually have a child that attends school in the area, or owns a business in the area. So it impacts us all. And the air, because we're so small, it does get out, right?
Yep.
It does get out. But just if you can say something to someone, just a piece of advice. There are people, I know this from being a part of organizations, who afraid to speak up. And one of the reasons is the CEO of Belco is also a government MP, and that may be seen as conflict. And people just don't want to get into the politics of it all. What would you say to someone who has that fear of being a part of something like this that's supposed to exist to help the community?
Yes. And this, you hit it on the nail, because this problem, because it's existed for so long with the ill towers, a lot of people are just tired. They just don't think, they don't have confidence in the fact that resolution will come, or they've tried and nothing's come from it, and so they've given up. And then some people just don't like getting involved in the drama of things. My message to them would be to please, even if you don't want to get involved, contact us so that we can understand how you're impacted, because that will help with the collection of data. So first and foremost, my hope is that people start to document what they're experiencing, and help BOCO out by communicating through their email address. And I'm going to say it again, ohse@belco.bm, because what they don't know they can't fix. So if you are having, roof, there's a lot of soot fallout, or your water is not of good quality, please reach out to them. They have a team that specifically is dealing with this. And so there are people who, will get resolution if they would just step forward. Happy to help the rest of us that are on the team, happy to help anybody who needs that voice for them. So either speak out by contacting BOCO yourself, or speak out by contacting us so that we can help be your voice.
Denise, thank you so much for taking the time to have this very important conversation. Please don't be a stranger. If there's anything that comes along that we need to communicate with our audience, please reach out. But otherwise, thank you for the work that you all are doing. And please know that we are here.
Yes, thank you. And I also want to thank BOCO. We've gotten to know the team very well because we've been in so many meetings, and there really are some good people at BOCO. We mentioned to them last night, look, we know you guys are trying. We know that there's no ill intent trying to pollute the island, but we're going to be here right at your hip, to push a little more each time, and that includes government and the RA. So thank everybody for the work that they are doing, and don't be offended when we keep pushing.
All righty. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Denise Riviere from the Bermuda Clean Air Coalition, folks. Please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Please make sure you share these conversations with your friends, your family, your colleagues. These are the conversations with the information that you need to know. All right. Do not go anywhere. We're going to take our final break. Come back, wrap it up with the Daily Play and our final thoughts on today's conversation. And I'm sure Raj has a lot based on his note taking. Stick with us.
Hi, welcome to ER Fisheries. I'm Jalen Steed, store manager and trained chef, and I'm here to help you with all of your food needs. Let's talk about why you should come and check out ER Fisheries. We offer the widest range of specialty meats and seafood items at a price point that will absolutely fit your budget. As a chef, I'm able to answer all of your food questions, help you come up with meal ideas, and generally guide you in the right direction. You'll get a custom shopping experience unlike any other food store in Bermuda, where we'll cater to your needs and provide you with excellent customer service. Where else can you get quality cooking advice and quality products? I look forward to helping you with all your meal ideas.
Back. Thanks again to Denise Riviere from the Bermuda Clean Air Coalition for the conversation and the information that was shared this morning. Thanks again to the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House and Lindos for ensuring we can have these conversations with you on a daily basis. Again, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share this with your friends, your family, your colleagues, even those that love to debate you about stuff, and you come here and you get the facts straight from people's mouths. Make sure you're sharing it. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Rajay, are you ready?
I gotta get it right.
All right, it's the things you should know. Help them out, folks. What Black Bermudian actor appeared in 1951's Pool of London?
Right in my mind's eye. Oh my God, Earl Cameron. Jeez.
I think you were playing with me.
I wasn't. I was like Rajay, but I thought of the theater and I saw the name at the top. I was like, I got it. Whew. Jamel, this is what I'm saying. You put me under pressure, bro. You put me under pressure, bro.
Yeah, the audience got it too, Raj. Raj, I think you were playing with me, Raj.
Listen, you set me up. You said if I get it wrong, the stakes were anyway. Everybody got there. We all got there.
All right. I said that if he didn't get this right, that he would have to refund everyone who's ever supported his theater career, right?
Hey,
so he doesn't have to refund them, folks. He doesn't have to refund them. But Raj, let's wrap it up. We discussed the throne speech and obviously a really important conversation with Denise Riviere. Final thoughts on this morning's conversation.
The throne speech, obviously, I like to speak to things that I understand, right? So that would be arts, culture, education, and I think like human services. We have to get education right. Like it's no more playing games. I think education's been subjected to just politics for the last few years, and we're not getting the results that we need. And it's been subjected to politics for the last 2 decades. We've lost too many students. We've lost too many families. We have too many people in this country who think they're not gifted and not strong because of their experience in our public education system. And I believe that we could have one of the best public education systems in the world. We have the expertise here. We can do it. We just need to get politics out of it. Let's get the hell on with it. Like, I'm really tired of the games, right? Arts and culture, let's start creating an ecosystem where the arts can play the role in this country that they should be playing. I trained as a theater artist in London, and the arts over there, like their arts council, millions, I think probably billions of pounds, and their funding, they respect the arts, they embrace the arts, and they understand that it's an integral part of a people. And if you don't have it, you're gonna suffer, right? We need to start elevating the arts in this country properly. And you were speaking about that young man at Kerr who has this natural talent, the BSOA. He can just take a quick walk up to the BSOA, go talk to Nzinga there who runs it, and says, hey, I have this. Any artist would take them under their wing so quick and just tutor him and mentor him. So we have to really understand the resources and the people that exist in this country. With the Bermuda Clean Air Coalition, and I'll keep it short, self-determination. We have to take our power back and determine and define how it is, and define our communities, basically. We are, as a people in Bermuda, I really think we're disconnected from our agency and our power, and we allow things to be done to us instead of defining things and getting things done. The Bermuda Clean Air Coalition is an extremely important organization, just not for the work that they're doing and their focus, but how they're going about it. I am very excited about their work, so grateful for them. They're data-driven, they're intentional, and just this idea that when a corporation, when a business generating profits, right, and we've talked about corporate responsibility, negatively impacts a community, you need to not be passing those costs or the logistics of fixing those things onto the community. It's incumbent upon you as that business to fix those things. So love to hear that Belco is doing things like paying for roofs to get cleaned. That's a step in the right direction. But again, that's what we're looking for, is a shift in mindset, right? When it comes to generating profits. Just because it makes money, that doesn't make everything that happens after it okay, right? Just because you have to protect your bottom line by firing somebody, it's really not okay that now you have somebody who's unemployed and can't eat. Profits do not justify inhumanity.
Correct. I agree. Raj, just on the throne speech, again, I'm with you on education. Was it Nelson Mandela or Malcolm X that said education is the passport to our future?
Malcolm.
And I agree. I believe that it's the foundation. Whether you see it as school and training or the like, we have to get it right. You mentioned Education Authority being headed up by Phil Butterfield.
Well, no, he's not going to head it up. He's leading the creation of it.
Yeah, I'll say this much: a tourism authority hasn't improved Bermuda tourism. I'm not quite sure. I actually think I agree with Dr. Lou Matthews that an education authority is just going to be more of the same.
It is, because you're going to have the same people.
Exactly. Boys Club, same people. I mean, literally, you went from a failed hotelier, in my opinion, David Dodrell, who was voted out as, he was a former tourism minister, and you let him head the tourism authority. So for me, same people, same results. And now you have a senator, former junior minister of tourism, and he was a senator, Wayne Keynes, now the head of the tourism authority. So I'm just not seeing anything that's moved that forward. If I'm used to use that as an example, I don't see if we're doing the same thing with education, I don't see how it's going to be moved forward. So that said, I agree with you. Things I'd like to see again. I would like to see healthcare addressed. I'd love to see, energy solutions in Bermuda, among many other things. I think we can write a booklet of things that we would like to see mentioned, but I'm more interested in the follow through on whatever is mentioned. As far as Denise Riviere and the Bermuda Clean Air Coalition Act, again, echo what you said. My issue with Balco is, okay, you're cleaning roofs, right? But you're taking care of the problem you created. Let's address the root cause. Let's get to the bottom of why you're even doing that. Until we address the root cause, I don't think we're really doing anything great. So I'm not here to give them a round of applause for cooperating after the fact. That's ignorant. It's ridiculous. We as a community have to keep the pressure on them. And my hope is that conversations like today help us understand how important that is. Raj, you've got some daily inspiration from ER Fisheries and Foods.
I do, and right before I give it, there was something I meant to say in my wrap up. This culture of fear and silence came up again in while Ms. Riviere was speaking. People don't want to speak up because it's ingrained. That came from somewhere in this country, and it's insane that we're in 2023 under a quote unquote Black government, right? Who suffered and their predecessors suffered from this, having their mortgages revoked for speaking out, etc. And people are still afraid of that in 2023. That's a very concerning thing. But our inspirational thought for the day from ER Fisheries is, I apologize, from Albert Schweitzer. Until he extends his circle of compassion to include all living things, man will not find himself. I'm going to do that again. I'm sorry. Until he extends his circle of compassion to include all living things, man will not himself find peace. I can do no other than to have compassion for all that is called life. That is the beginning and the foundation of all ethics.
Thank you for that. Appropriate. Folks, please don't forget to fill out the survey if you haven't already. Go to our website. Your input, your feedback is extremely important. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you on Monday. He's Roger Denbrook. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great weekend. We are out. Peace.